Are you over 50 and want to stay strong and healthy? You've probably heard that glute bridges are one of the simplest yet most powerful exercises. But here's the truth. If you're doing them wrong, instead of protecting your waist, you're doing them every day. In the next few minutes, I'll show you the common mistakes, why they're dangerous, and more importantly, how to correct them so you can exercise safely, effectively, and truly feel the health of your glutes. As we age, our bodies change faster than we think. Lower back pain, stiff hips, weak knees, and one of the silent causes is the way we exercise. The glute bridge, a seemingly simple move, can be a double-edged sword. If done correctly, it improves glutes, reduces back pain, and aids in walking and standing. If done incorrectly, it can do the opposite, putting more pressure on the back and joints. I call the glute bridge the golden exercise for people over 50 because it not only strengthens the glutes, but also reduces tension in the lower back, improves stability when walking, and even helps prevent fall. But I have to be blunt. If you do it wrong, the effect will be zero. Worse, it can cause you more pain. In today's video, I'll share with you the most common mistakes that many people over 50 make when doing glute bridges, how to fix each mistake with simple instructions on how to do it. And finally, safe, effective variations to help you progress without worrying about injury. If you're serious about keeping your lower back healthy, improving your flexibility, and enjoying an active old age, then stay with me until the end of the video. This is the mistake I see the most, and it's also the most dangerous because you're probably making it right now without even realizing it. And I promise, if you fix this one thing, you'll feel a huge difference in your workout today. I remember a 62-year-old student who told me that every time he finished doing a glute bridge, instead of feeling a stretch in his butt, he felt a pain in his back. He thought that the higher he lifted his hips, the more effective the exercise would be. But in fact, that habit was making his back worse and worse. When you try to lift your hips too high, your hips are at the end of their range of extension. To compensate, your body will round your lower back. You may not realize it, but it's like putting extra stress on your spine every time you do it. Instead of making your butt stronger, your back is hurting. The fix is simple, but incredibly effective. Instead of thinking, lift your hips as high as you can, think, keep your body in a straight plank. When you reach the top, stop at a point where your shoulders, hips, and knees are in a straight line, no more rounding. And remember, quality is more important than quantity. 5 correct reps are better than 20 wrong ones. So we've fixed the first mistake, preventing your back from arching too much. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. The other mistake, more subtle but equally dangerous, is forgetting to tighten your abs. Let's see why that affects both your back and your butt. Have you ever finished a glute bridge and felt your back tense instead of your butt? If so, it's usually not because you have weak glutes, but because you forgot something extremely important, tightening your abdominal muscles, also known as your core. A 58-year-old female student of mine complained that her back ached every time she finished a workout. After observing, I realized the problem. Her abdomen was completely relaxed, her pelvis was tilted forward, and every time she lifted her hips, her lower back had to bear the entire burden. This is a mistake that many people over 50 make. When the core is not tightened, the lower back will sag and the pelvis will be unbalanced. The result, all the pressure is put on the lower back, which can cause pain. The glutes are not fully recruited, the exercise is less effective. In other words, if you forget to tighten your core, it's like building a house without a solid foundation. The fix is obvious. Before you lift your hips, press your lower back into the floor and imagine you're pulling your belly button toward your spine. This is called posterior pelvic tilt, a slight tilt of the pelvis to protect your back. As you exhale, Tighten your abs as if you're expecting a gentle tap on your belly. No need to tense up, just make sure your abs don't relax. Keep this feeling throughout the exercise. A little tip, you can put one hand on your belly and one hand under your back. If your back is slightly pressed down and your abs are tight, you're doing it right. So we have a solid foundation for the glute bridge, a safe back, good abdominal control. But there's one more mistake, seemingly small but crucial to the entire effectiveness of the exercise: the foot placement. If you put it just a few centimeters wrong, you're no longer working your glutes, but shifting all the force to your thighs. Let's see. This is the silent mistake that many people make when doing glute bridges without seeing a bigger, stronger butt. And you might be making it yourself without even realizing it, all because you're putting your feet in the wrong place. A 67-year-old student of mine was doing glute bridges diligently, but instead of feeling a stretch in his butt, he complained of pain in his hamstrings and knees. After examining him, I realized that his feet were too far away from his butt. This seemingly small thing was causing all his effort to go to the wrong muscle group. When the feet are too far away, the lifting force comes mainly from the hamstrings. If the feet are too close, the pressure is put on the knees and quads. As a result, the glutes are barely engaged. You're working your glutes, but your glutes aren't doing much work. The golden rule: your heels should be about arm's length from your butt when you extend your arms out to touch your heels. At the top of the movement, your knees should be about 90 degrees. Keep your feet hip-width apart with your toes turned out 10 to 15 degrees to help your hips relax. A quick tip: if you feel a stretch in your glutes, you're doing it right. If you feel a lot of stretch in your hamstrings or knees, stop and adjust. So we fixed the foot position error, the foundation for an effective glute bridge. But there's a common habit. Instead of pushing through your heels, many people lift their toes to push their hips. This is mistake number 4, and it's secretly making your butt almost inactive. Let's see. This is a mistake that almost 7 out of 10 people make when they first start doing glute bridges. You may not notice it, but if you just tiptoe a little bit, all the work on the glutes almost disappears. I once met a 70-year-old man who worked hard every week, but after many months, he said, "Why don't I feel any stronger butt, only tight calves?" And when I looked closely, I realized that he always pushed his hips up with the toes, not the heels. When you tiptoe, the force goes through the calves and quads more. The glutes are asleep. Not only does it reduce the effectiveness, but it also puts more pressure on the knee joint. Place your entire foot flat on the floor, but with your weight on your heels. Imagine that you are using your heels to push the floor down. A little tip: when you first start, you can lift your toes 1 to 2 centimeters a few times to feel the force on your heels. Then put your entire foot back on the floor to stabilize. So we've eliminated the habit of pushing off with the toes, a mistake that causes many people to practice forever without seeing their butt. But there's one last mistake, which seems simple but determines the effectiveness of the entire movement: whether or not you squeeze your glutes at the top. And this is the secret to making the glute bridge really work. Do you know what separates a regular glute bridge from a truly effective one? The answer lies at the top of the movement, a place that many people overlook and where your glutes are truly awakened. I once met a 65-year-old woman who did glute bridges every morning. But when I asked her, "Do you feel your glutes tightening at the top?" she hesitated and said, "Actually, I just lift my hips up and down without paying much attention." And this is the reason why she did hundreds of reps with little results. If you don't actively squeeze your glutes at the top, other muscles like your quads or lower back will do the work instead. The glutes are not recruited enough. The exercise is less effective. In the long run, you lose the opportunity to improve your strength and reduce back pain. Each time you lift your hips, imagine you're squeezing your butt cheeks together. Hold the top position for 1 to 2 seconds, feeling your glutes tighten and contract. Exhale as you squeeze, then slowly lower back down. A quick tip, place your hands on your glutes as you do the exercise. If you feel them tightening, you're doing it right. So, we've gone over the 5 biggest mistakes when doing glute bridges. But don't stop there, because right now I'm going to show you how to do a glute bridge correctly from A-Z, step by step, so you can do it safely, stay effectively, and really feel your glutes working. Before you start doing glute bridges properly, I want you to pause for a moment, because there is one factor that is often overlooked but is extremely important, especially for people over 50: preparation and safety. I remember a 72-year-old man who was very excited to do the exercise, but after just a few times, he felt uncomfortable tightness in his hips and lower back. Not because he was doing the exercise wrong, but because his body was not warmed up and prepared. This is a mistake that many older people make. As we age, our muscles and joints are not as flexible as they used to be. If we don't warm up and stretch first, our hips and back will have to bear more pressure, leading to pain or even injury. Detailed instructions on how to prepare. Before you start, spend 2 to 3 minutes on some light warm-up moves. Hip flexor stretch. Kneel on one leg, gently push your hips forward. Foam roller on the front of your thighs. 30 to 60 seconds on each side. Breathe deeply and rotate your hips gently to increase circulation. If you have back or knee problems, start with a supported version of the glute bridge. Place a small pillow under your back or reduce the range of your hip lift. And of course, if you have a history of severe back pain or have recently been injured, consult your doctor before starting. Safety always comes first, especially when our goal is to live a healthy and active life. Now that your body is ready and you know the safety rules to keep in mind, let's get to the most important part: how to do a glute bridge correctly from A to Z. This is where everything comes together. We've talked about the mistakes and how to avoid them. Now it's time to put it all together so you have a complete formula: how to do a glute bridge correctly from A to Z. If you do it right, I guarantee you'll feel your glutes working from the very first workout. Step-by-step instructions, 5 standard steps. 1. Setup. Lie on your back on the mat. Bend your knees. Place your feet flat on the floor. Heels are an arm's length away from your buttocks, feet hip width apart, toes slightly turned out. To engage your core, protect your back, gently press your lower back into the floor. Draw your belly button toward your spine, feeling your abs tighten. Exhale slowly to stabilize. 3. Lift your hips. Put your power through your heels, imagining you're pushing the floor down. Lift your hips until your shoulders, hips, knees form a straight line. 4. Squeeze your glutes at the top. Actively contract your glutes. T. Hold for 1 to 2 seconds. Imagine you are squeezing your glutes together. Exhale as you squeeze to increase your focus. 5. Lower with control. Do not let your hips drop. Slowly lower, gently touching your back to the floor. Then repeat. Tips to remember. You can remember the formula: setup, core, heels, glutes, control. Every time you do a glute bridge, just check these 5 elements and you will know you are doing it right. Now you have mastered the standard version of the glute bridge, but that is just the beginning. If you want to continue to progress, increase your strength, and challenge yourself safely, join me in learning variations and ways to upgrade this exercise. The basic glute bridge is a great foundation, but if you want to continue to grow, you need to add a new challenge. The good news is that you don't need a gym or fancy machines. Just a few simple variations will help you make significant progress. Variation 1. Single leg glute bridge. Instead of using both legs, use only one leg to lift your hips. This improves balance, strengthens each side of your glutes, and promotes a more stable gait. Lie in a standard position. Raise one leg, keeping your knee bent at about 90 degrees. Use your other leg to push your hips up, squeezing your glutes. Tip, start with fewer reps and keep it slow and steady. Variation 2, glute bridge with weight, dumbbells or plates. Once your glutes are used to the basic exercise, adding a light weight will increase the challenge and improve your strength. Place a small dumbbell or weight plate on your hips. Hold the weight with both hands, squeezing your core and glutes as usual. Lift your hips up, holding for 1 to 2 seconds at the top. Tip, people over 50 should start with light weights, 2 to 5 kilograms, gradually increasing as their body adapts. Variation 3, bench hip thrust. Compared to a glute bridge on the floor, a hip thrust has a larger range of motion, which helps activate the glutes more strongly. Lean back on the edge of a sturdy chair or sofa. Place your feet like a glute bridge, pushing through your heels. Lower your hips close to the floor and push straight up, squeezing your glutes at the top. Tip, if you are new to this exercise, start slow without weights. As you get used to it, you can add lighter weights. No matter which variation you choose, remember the golden rules we learned: keeping your core tight, using your heels, squeezing your glutes at the top, and not lifting your hips too high still apply. This is the key to safe progress. Now that you have not only the standard version, but also the variations to upgrade gradually, let me come to the end. A quick summary of the 5 mistakes, a reminder of the golden rules, and advice you can apply today. So in today's video, we've gone through 5 common mistakes that make glute bridges not only ineffective, but also cause back pain. Detailed fixes for each mistake so you can practice safely and effectively. And advanced variations, suitable for people over 50 who want to make sustainable progress. Remember, glute bridges are not just an exercise, but also a tool to help you keep your back healthy, improve your posture, and enjoy an energetic old age. Just practice correctly, you will feel the difference in just a few weeks. If this video is helpful, don't forget to like to support, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on exercises and health tips for people over 50, and leave a comment below. What part of the glute bridge are you having trouble with? I'll pick out some questions and answer them in the next video. Let's build a healthy community together so that our old age is full of vitality. Thank you for taking the time to accompany me. See you in the next videos.